Russia stole nearly 8 million tons of harvest in occupied Ukraine.
Here's a summary of the article.
Approximately 6.4 million tons of wheat and nearly 1.5 million tons of sunflower seeds were harvested in Russian-occupied Ukrainian territories this year, the recent data from NASA's Food Security and Agriculture Program reveals. NASA harvests estimated volume of nearly 8 million tons, though not sufficient to alter the global balance, is significant and not accounted for in industry reports used by traders to assess supply and export, potentially impacting market prices. Texty. Russia made over $5 billion on stolen harvest in occupied Ukraine. Inbal Becker-Reshef, director of the NASA Harvest Program, emphasized the importance of this information being open and transparent and reflecting the amount of food currently being harvested and produced. The valuation of these crops and the associated damages is crucial for any reparations Ukraine might seek from Russia. Although NASA's research does not indicate how much grain from the occupied territories is exported, it helps identify the amount that could be mixed with Russian shipments to the Middle East and Africa. The NASA Harvest study shows that about 7% of Ukraine's agricultural lands were neglected this year, predominantly along the front line, resulting in a harvest loss valued at $2 billion and a number of grains and oilseeds sufficient to feed over 25 million people for a year.
This post received a score of 15,000, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Enough to feed the whole United Kingdom for half a year.
Which is why we should probably care about on whose side that land lands.
There are two things why Ukraine has always been bitterly fought over for 1,000s of years. Food and ports. After 1,000s of years that has never changed. It's also why every clairvoyant always uses Ukraine as one of their go-tos. Humans will always consider those two things to be the most important for our survival, no matter what tech is made.
Historically, you are spot on. Currently, though, Russia wants the ginormous natural gas reserves in the Donbas and off the coast of Crimea. Of lesser interest but still important is the ability to operate their pipelines without having to pay Ukraine a usury fee for the right of way.
The real cause of the war. The natural gas was definitely a motivating factor, especially since Ukraine was collecting revenue from the Russia gas passing through its territory via pipeline. That said, I don't think we should discount the strategic value of controlling and supplying Sevastopol. The Kerch Strait Bridge just wasn't cutting it for Russia, especially with the canal that supplies water to Crimea being cut off, severely reducing Crimea's agricultural output. By controlling the Kherson, Zaporizhzhia, Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts, Russia can build better rail and highway links to Crimea and relieve the supply pressure on the highly vulnerable bridge. New shale deposits in Donbass and Crimea.
Also 700,000 children.
That's the mind-blowing thing. Those kids are gone. It's going to be nearly impossible to get them back.
They'll be reconditioned and sent back as fodder in the next 6 to 8 years.
Of course they did. That was the whole point. Ukraine's the breadbasket of Europe, and always has been.
The USSR wants their breadbasket back.
Russia. I don't think people realize how big the USSR was. It was a total of 15 republics, and controlled the entirety of Central Asia. They are barely holding on to 25% of Ukraine right now.
Republics.
I don't remember the exact history, but the Soviets wanted each republic to have a vote at the UN or something, and the US response was along the lines of, should we also give each state a vote?
The Soviets still got Ukraine and Belarus SSRs a vote in the UN though.
Hard to imagine a more disgusting country.
Now imagine having them as neighbors.
Imagine having them as neighbors, trying to tell Western Europe how bad of a neighbor they are, and Westerners patronizing you that everyone can be reasoned with.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.